about what's not working, and then we looked at the Australian model, which Zara gave a brief presentation on, and I won't try and elaborate on that because I might not do justice to it. So we looked at that, the independent living is beyond social care, and we also looked at things around planning assessments. We drew on the other assessment workshops done earlier on. And we also had a discussion around the need to look at intersectionality of disabled people within the whole thing around independent living principles. People tell me if I'm missing some of it. As well as not treated, what's that saying? Sorry. So we also looked at another thing that was really important, which is around language. We need to have some consistency around languages and being clear about where we use PA and where we use carers. And there was another point that was made around looking at maybe independent living, and I think it was around whether we use equal rather than independent living. So, trying to make people think about independent living is for everybody. And we also had a discussion around getting independent living out there, so it's not just among us lot within these rooms. So independent living should be something that everybody's aware of, everybody's aware that it's right, and getting people to value it as well. Also making sure that there's a decent wage for people who assist us, which would be our PAs. I'm just trying to make sure I picked up everything. And also another point was around making sure we think about the assessment process. One of the things around the assessment process, lots of resources have been drained into the assessments. So thinking around assessments around people taking the lead in that, disabled people being the drivers of that, rather than it being driven by professional bodies where you have all these different people employed just to carry assessment, which it may not even be worth £50 at the end of it. So that was a bit. Am I missing anything else, Mark? Is that it? So overall, what we're saying is draw on the principles that are there, making sure to say people are valued, and making sure we think about independent living outside of these walls.
And making sure our life is our own and never takes away from us.
Great, thanks Michelle.
I found it very hard what to write. He thought he had to justify all his days. Every hour of every day. And that's not independent living.
Yeah, I think it's terrible when people have got to justify why they need to have their coat on. Yeah. But I'm getting to the stage that I've got to do that with my current PA. And while I've got this microphone, I'm going to say, I think that right at the beginning, and I'm talking about in the 1990s now, we should, instead of accepting the watered down Disability Act in 1995, before that we should have gone on and pressed for full civil rights. Maybe if we did that, we wouldn't be sitting here going over old ground, going backwards and trying to come forwards again.
Michael and then Carla? Yeah.
Can I say, adding on to that, we should redesign it ourselves, this one, and fill in the gaps where the holes are, and then present it to the government.
Well, I'm not preaching, but you expressed yourself, Daphne, but we did in the 1990s, and it was called Dan. And we need to get out there and do it again, and we need to try and make sure it's wider, we get the message out, and it's not always the same people doing it. The thing is, what we see now, what it's been mounting up to, is an effective form of social apartheid. It's everything that we've been talking about. But when it boils down to it, it is actually social apartheid. And that's what we actively need to resist, be it with information, be it with training, be it with skill sharing. Not everybody can get out on the streets. I understand that. But we need to be a lot more forceful in the whole gamut of everything that we do.
We're coming to the last information coming out of today, and I think there's quite a lot of common themes. But what we will do is write those up and then send out to you all what we think are the kind of the key campaign objectives and actions, and ask if that's your understanding and you're happy to sign up to them. But also, then we need your suggestions about how we actually then make that happen, because we all need to own this. If we're signing up to something and agreeing it, we need to own it, and we need to think about how can we each play a part in making that happen. So when we're here next year, you know, we've just pushed the whole agenda forward again. So I think we'll be sending that out, and then the invite will be, tell us how you can make this happen where you are.